What's up with y'all boys and girls, man? Hey, it's Jay Briggs here with my guy, Chris Ruffolo. As we continue to cook up this WNBA action, man, welcome to the WNBA Layup session. Chris, man, we got a full schedule of WNBA action today. 5 games on the card. I'm going to break down each and every one of them, let the people know our thoughts. How you doing today, my man?
Doing well. Yeah, we had a day off in between us, so you were able to hold it down without me on the weekend. So appreciate you doing that. But I'm back and I'm ready to break down the card with you today. Our biggest WNBA card of the season. I'm ready to make some money. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I've had a great start to the season here in the WNBA, and I'm just looking to keep the momentum rolling forward. So, like you said, huge card tonight. Some pretty good action. Ready to talk through it. Help the folks make some money tonight. So, let's do it, man. First game on the board. We got my hometown team, the Wings, still winless. But they're favored tonight to get their first one. They're 4.5-point road favorites over the Connecticut Sun. Total 163.5. Somebody getting their first win of the season tonight, Chris. Who is it going to be?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the Wings tonight. Drums, flats, however you want to look at it, don't matter. I think it's all about the Wings tonight. It's not easy laying points on the road with a team that's winless, but the Sun are clearly in a rebuild, and I think this is a Paige Becker's legacy game. I think that returning to where it all began for her, where she grew up, basically, in the limelight, became the first overall pick this past off season, going back home to Connecticut. I think it's like I said, I think it's a Paige Becker's legacy game. I would look at extending on Paige Becker's props, but I think that she leads the charge tonight as the Wings get their first win and do so by getting a cover.
Word for word, bar for bar. I'm on my hometown team tonight as well. Y'all know, if you've been watching this show, I've been fading them for majority of the season. I felt like with the addition of Paige, they've been overrated and overvalued. They got a future, but the future is not necessarily right in this moment. But I've also told you guys here on this show, I think the Connecticut Sun are going to be the worst team in the league this season. I've been proven right on that front as well, as they're 0-4 to start the season, and I think them as double possession home dogs to a winless team speaks volume. This is a game don't overcomplicate. Like Chris said, I think Paige has a really good game in Connecticut. She went to UConn, became what she was already her before then, but she, like he said, grew up in Connecticut. I'm expecting this venue to probably be packed out for her tonight, and I think the Wings come out and play well behind that. So no need to overcomplicate it. Wings, I think, have an offensive explosion tonight, and I think that leads to a cover. I'm going to lay the points here with the Wings in our first game of the night. Keep it rolling. We got the expansion team, the Golden State Valkyries, out on the road facing the defending champs, the New York Liberty. Liberty. They're 17.5-point home favorites, total 162.5. Y'all know me, man. Y'all know. I love the New York Liberty. I'm laying it. I think there's no reason to overcomplicate this one either. This is the best team in the WNBA, the Liberty, the defending champs versus an expansion team. I know the Valkyries have 2 wins on the season. Shout out to them. We'll give them credit for those, but you also got to look at it through realistic lenses. Those 2 wins came over the Mystics and the Sparks. 2 teams, personally, I'm not high on either of them. I think the Sparks are tremendously overrated and overvalued, even though they added a couple household names. And the Mystics, the book is still out if they're going to be a bad team or a middle-of-the-road team. But at best, that's what they are. So, shout out to Valkyrie. They've played well to start their season, but there's levels to this shit in the WNBA. And the Liberty are the best team in the WNBA. I think they completely dismantle the Valkyrie tonight. I think they take them behind the woodshed. I'm going to land the points here in this one with the New York Liberty. Chris?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that part of my French, there's levels to this shit. And, right now, the Liberty are just your defending champions. I think we're going to see that play out on the court. But what I've noticed with the Liberty is that going back to last season, when they have these quick back-to-back spots, whether it's a home and home or it's in the same building, they usually kick the crap out of their opponent in game one, and in the quick rematch, they maybe come out a little bit flat. So I think this is going to be the smash spot for the Liberty, and I think maybe the Valkyries come out, maybe catch the Liberty napping a little bit in game two, maybe play a Valkyries first half money line or something like that. But I think tonight it's Liberty all day. Unfortunately, I just think that the Valkyries are just too much of a step up. In what I believe is their first trip outside of California, if I'm not mistaken. So,
It is.
yeah. So I think it's just going to be a tough. It's not. There's not. It doesn't get tougher than your first road game in New York at the defending champions. So. Yeah, I got to go with the Liberty by a 20 piece, if not more.
Let's do it. We'll keep it rolling. Got the Seattle Storm out on the road facing the Minnesota Lynx. Lynx, 7.5 point home favorites. Total 156.5. How you feeling here?
Yeah, I got to go with the Lynx here. I think that this is just back in the Lynx at home where they've been at their best. The Seattle Storm, I'll admit it. I ate some crow with the Storm because I was saying, I don't know if I can get there without Jewel Lloyd. I want to see what this team is going to look like. Well, it just looks like they've sort of played to the back of their baseball card to quote Mitch. And one of the things you always say was just playing to the back of your card. And what have the Storm been? We talked about it when we were covering the WNBA last year. They were, Jay, which team were they?
They're the Denver Nuggets of the WNBA. They go stupid, crazy at home at the crib.
Exactly. They play their best basketball at home. You pick your spots with them on the road. You auto back them at home and use your judgment on the road. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. The Lynx, Nafisa Collier's on another level right now, out of the gate. I just think the Lynx end up being too much for the Storm on the road. I'm taking the Lynx, laying the points at home.
Again, we're in agreement. I'm on the Lynx. I'm laying the points here in this one. Shout out to the Storm. They were my best bet. The last night we had WNBA at home at the crib, and they ended up getting the outright win over the Aces. No shock there. I told you guys that show. I liked them to get the outright money line win. Tonight, though, on the road against the Lynx, I think they get beat up. The Lynx are the second best team in this league, in my opinion, behind the Liberty. I think it's the Liberty, the Lynx, and then everybody else, personally. I do have that Storm in that second bucket with the Fever, with the Aces. But again, to quote Chris and to quote myself, there's levels to this shit. So the Lynx are sizable favorites in this game for good reason. I don't trust the Storm the same on the road as I do at home. I'm gonna lay it here in this one with Minnesota. Keep it rolling, man. 2 games left. We got the Atlanta Dream out on the road facing the Sparks. Sparks, 2.5 point home favorites, total 162.5. I like the Dream here. I think the Dream are the better team, personally. I still think that the Sparks are overrated, overvalued. Their 2 wins this season came against the winless Chicago Sky and the expansion team, the Golden State Valkyrie. I still have major concerns and question marks about this Sparks team. I know they added a couple household names, but we haven't really seen that translate all the way quite yet. The Dream, if they hit their outside shots, if they're hitting their jumpers, they're going to win this game. At least that's how I see this playing out. I don't see the Sparks as some dominant defensive team. I think the Dream hit their shots. I want to attack some plus money. Atlanta for me. Chris, am I delusional?
I wasn't going to say delusional, but I will say I do disagree on this one. I am going with the Sparks because I think you used a very key word there. If the Dream hit their outside shots, and Ryan Howard has not been hitting her outside shots. I think she went 1 for 10 again in the last game. But the thing for me is that we've talked about on the morning show. There are certain games, even if we do agree that there are certain teams like the Sparks that some may consider overrated and overvalued, they don't lose every game. They win some games to justify why we tag them as overrated and overvalued. And for me, it's just a matter of a tough schedule spot for the Atlanta Dream. They played 3 games in 4 nights. Now this is going to be their 4th and 6th. It's going to be their first road game of the bunch where they have to go cross country to the West Coast. just adding to the fatigue. No Brittany Griner for this game. She's out for this one. Rakia Jackson looks like she's going to be back for the Sparks here. That's big on the inside. So I got to go with the Sparks here. I just think that I personally think the Sparks are the better team in this one.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I ain't mad at you. They're favored in this game for a reason. We'll see if they're able to stack a solid win. Last and final game of the night, we got the Chicago Sky out on the road facing the Phoenix Mercury. Mercury, sizable home favorite, laying 6.5 in this one. Total 158. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm going to roll with the Mercury here. I think it just boils down to the fact that if until I see the Sky keep a game within single digits, I'm just going to keep backing, especially. I'm going to keep backing the other side, especially when we're only having to lay 6.5, 7, depending on where you're getting this line with the Mercury. I get it. If you look at some of Phoenix's recent games, they played a couple of close ones. I'm trying to remember who they played last time out there. They played a close game against the Washington Mystics. They barely covered. They won by 6. They didn't cover against LA at home, only won that game by 3. But I think the Chicago Sky might be the worst team, or at least the second worst team in the WNBA. They didn't really do anything to improve this team. They gave up a ton for Ariel Atkins, bringing her over from Washington, and she's averaging 9 points a game. She hasn't done very much this year. I just think the Sky the sky is falling for Chicago. So give me the Mercury here, laying the points.
I'm going the other way, my man. I'm chasing the Chicago Sky money line, and I think tonight sets up as a good spot for them to do it. It's not a premium. It's not anything like that. It's something I'm doing personally. Yeah, they haven't been great to start the season. They lost their first 2 games of the year to the Fever and in New York. I think 2 of the top 4 teams in this league. The loss to the Sparks was a little concerning. But I don't think of the Mercury as some dominant offensive team. I think in a game like this, a slower game, I lean towards an under, and I think Chicago's going to have a legitimate chance to steal one. So that's just my thoughts here. Small lean on Chicago plus the points. Small lean on Chicago money line. I really do like the under in this game tonight, though. But ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's all. We covered all 5. We did it. Broke all the games down. Let you guys know our thoughts and our opinions. Of course, the plays that we love the most, the ones we have the most money on ourselves, are over at Pickdawgz Premium. I've had a really good start to the WNBA season, and I'm just looking to keep the momentum rolling forward. You can scoop up my top play for $19 over at the site. I want to say I'm either 6-2 or 7-2 on that play to start the season. I should have pulled up the number before the show to get y'all the exact number, but it's one of those two. So just looking to keep it rolling. Chris, what you got going on today, my man?
Yeah, for me, he's got a couple WNBA on the board. Finally got off the schneid, got rid of shook off the bad juju, and finally got our first win last time out. And I'm back on it today. 2 WNBA plays as part of a basketball 3-pack with the NBA game on the board, and I got some MLB there too. So make sure that you check that out over at Pickdawgz Premium.
Check it out, man. Money Making Tuesday. Appreciate each and every one of y'all that continue to tune in and watch this video. See y'all tomorrow. Out here. Peace.